listening to, you are absolutely listening to the George Espinlov Show, coming to you live from the Funny Farm. Now, with no further ado, here comes Georgie!
Thank you. Thank you very much. My goodness gracious. Hey, it's a Friday night, and here we are at the Funny Farm. You're listening to the George Espinlov Show. Yep, coming to you from the Funny Farm in a place called Our World, and we have no idea where that is. We just live here. To all of our friends down the street, around the corner, across this great nation, and around the world, we want you to come in, sit down, get a grip, and listen to what's going on tonight. Now, y'all know, Friday nights is sometimes a little hairy around here. We have an agenda, but we never know what's going to happen. And we have a tremendous guest with us tonight, and a whole lot of other things, including a special visit from my mom. She wants to show y'all her haircut that she just got. Yeah. Yeah, you go ahead and laugh now. Wait till she gets here to the studio, then laugh. I don't think you will. Anyhow, we've got some great things going on, and we'll share them with you in a little while. But first of all, we want to bring our guest on, a young lady from right here in Laurel, Delaware. And I think you're going to like what you hear. So we want you to come in, pull up your chair, and listen as we introduce Lacey Lafferty. Lacey, welcome to the show.
Good evening, George. How are you today?
I'm fine. I'm just absolutely fine.
Thank you for inviting me.
We were talking before we went on the air. We only live about a mile apart, but never knew. But never knew we lived a mile apart because we didn't know. You didn't know that I was here. I didn't know that you was here until the other day. Then we found out we were both here, right?
That's right. Delaware's pretty small.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
Yep, right around the corner from where I live.
Wow. Tell me something. Tell me something, Lacey. You have written a book, and it's called what? Messages from a Mother? Yes,
I've written a book, Messages from a Mother, and then I also wrote another book called Delaware Horse Racing, and they pretty much came out at the same time. But Messages from a Mother was a book that I started last year, and then put it in a publisher's hands at the first of this, of January of 2012. I wrote it the year before, and then I put it in a publisher's hands in 2012, and then I started working on the horse book, Delaware Horse Racing. Mm-hmm.
Could you tell us the circumstances behind your Messages from a Mother?
Yes, Messages from a Mother was a culmination of messages that I wrote to my daughter in a journal. And the reason why I wrote it was that about 4 years ago, I became seriously ill with a condition that came from prescription drugs. I had a hearing problem that developed, and they thought maybe it was due to Lyme disease, so the doctor prescribed me a hard prescription of antibiotics. And in the course of taking these hard antibiotics for a period of 15 to 20 days, a couple months later, I started developing problems with my tract. I couldn't, everything I was eating was going through me, and I became very anemic and losing weight and allergic to foods and the environment around me. to where I ended up in the hospital 4 times in 2 weeks, losing like 20 pounds. My body began to just live off my flesh and muscle tissue. And nothing, it was not living off anything I was eating, because everything I was eating was just going through me. And so, needless to say, at this time, I mean, I was in pretty desperate shape. I went and sought medical advice from a doctor in Pennsylvania, and he advised me that this condition, it could surely kill me. So, unless I took drastic measures to turn it around, and hopefully it would render itself, and homeopathically, he could help me do this if I was very diligent and disciplined, which I am a very disciplined person anyway. So I was determined. But my daughter is the one that makes me determined. My daughter, you know, she was only like 3 years old at the time, 4 years old at the time. And all I could think about was, oh, my dear, if something happens to me, what's going to become of her? She'll never remember me. She'll never know who I am. Because I had her later on in life. I had her when I was 34, and I'm 51 now. She just did turn 8.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, my family's pretty much, my mom and my dad have died, you know, or have passed away, and my sister and brother don't live around me. So I'm pretty much on my own with her. So I became very concerned about what was going to happen to her, and how she was going to ever remember me. So that's what my inspiration was. In case I did pass away, I would leave her these messages to her in a journal. And I began to write so many of them that it ended up being as big as a book. So as I'm going through this experience with my health, and actually it took me anywhere from 6 months just to be able to eat again. And then as much as a year before I started feeling, you know, around 80, 85%, and never did, you know, gain weight. I was like 140 pounds. I lost 20 pounds in 2 weeks, down to like 118, 119, and I looked like a skeleton, walking skeleton.
Mm.
So, needless to say, I never could, for like 2 years, get my weight back. I just eat, and couldn't get my weight back. So in the process of getting better, hopefully, and not catching something to where my immune system was so far down that you know, a common cold would kill me. It took me a good 2.5, 3 years to get over this condition. And in the process, like I say, I wrote these messages to her, and so that if something happened, she would remember me. So that's what it came from. That's what inspired me to write the book. And it's a mother's love. It's telling her advice, and whether she would take it or not, or anybody else would take it for her, as that goes.
Mm-hmm.
It's advice to let people know that there's other alternatives, and to be the best you can be, and keep trying no matter what obstacle gets in your way. Just have keep pushing. Keep pushing yourself. I mean, I got a few messages in the book I can read.
Sure, we'd like that.
Just like in this one message I wrote, I never said I was perfect. I said I was good. I do and I will make mistakes, but I am woman enough to admit them and correct them. I will not give up, but live up to the image my child will be proud of. And that's pretty much telling her I'm not perfect, but I try to be.
Mm-hmm.
I try. I truly try. And that's all you can ask for.
That's right.
That's all you can ask for. And you will make mistakes, and I make mistakes. I don't want her to go into life today. Well, my mother, she was perfect. I'm not perfect, but I try to be. And so that's all I want her to try to be, or anybody else who reads the book, and just do what you can to the best of your abilities. And that's all you can ask for. That's all you can ask for. And so, I mean, it's life lessons that I learned throughout my life, even before I was a state trooper. I mean, I learned a lot working around the public,
mm-hmm.
Dealing with the public, and I thoroughly enjoyed my job. I just did it. I was on the road for 13 years, patrol, and that's where I love to be, right on patrol.
Mm-hmm.
and dealing with the public and their problems, and just love talking to them and anything. And it's funny how you can talk to the public. You go to their house and you got two people that just don't see eye to eye, and they don't listen to one another. They're talking but not listening.
Right.
And I even learned from them. I learned so much, being around these people, that it made me a better person. It made me a more empathetic person, and discovered a little bit about myself that I put in this book that would hopefully would help others. And that goes through all the trials and tribulations through life. And again, experiencing this from a road trooper's point of view,
mm-hmm.
being out there, going to domestics, going to civil arguments, neighborly things, and burglaries, robberies, even arresting criminals. They have their problems too. They got a problem when I come to them, but even what drives them to do what they did to get arrested.
Right.
So whether it be drugs or abuse or assaults or financial problems, things like that.
Human nature human nature is a fascinating subject, isn't it?
Oh yeah. It's conflict resolution.
Mm-hmm.
It's really being able to be intuitive and listening to people, and okay, they can't see their problem because they're on the inside and emotions take over them.
Uh-huh.
So their mind is kind of clouded. And, a person on the outside can give them advice, and believe it or not, they'll listen. They'll listen, and it makes sense to them.
Uh-huh.
And it's funny how people will listen to someone they don't know versus somebody they do know. That it's a lot of how a lot of family arguments begin. They don't listen to one another. But here a stranger can be called there and come in and sit them down and say, okay, what's your side of the story and what's your side of the story, and we're going to come to a happy medium here. You're going to like what's going to happen when we get done, hopefully. And that's the experience that I garnered from my career, and I took those experiences and I used them to help raise my child. And again, I don't do everything perfect, and I don't want people to think I'm perfect, because I have made mistakes in my life. I've learned from those mistakes, and hopefully, it makes me a better person, and it makes other people a better person. If they were perfect, I really wouldn't want to be around a perfect person. I don't think.
That'd be scary.
Yeah, that's real scary.
Yeah.
Humans by fault aren't perfect.
Perfect people, boy, I'll hurt my lips. Perfect people are scary, like some of these adults I see out here,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Them adults are scary, too.
Yeah, I really encourage people to, contact their local law enforcement and to really know what life's all about, because, people they go home, they go to work, and they come back home again, and they sit down, and they go to sleep at night, and they get back up in the morning, and they really don't know how the other half of the world lives.
That's true.
And I encourage people to go to your local law enforcement and ask for ride-alongs. To say, hey, I'd like to ride along with one of your patrol officers or your troopers for a couple hours.
Mm-hmm.
And they usually will accommodate the public, with hourly times and days to come to their troops or their offices to meet up with a patrol officer and go on routine patrol. And it's amazing how they never dreamed this is how the other world lives, because it's an eye-opening experience, let me tell you.
I always say, excuse me, I always say that a lot of people, when I was a kid, that was a long time ago, but anyhow, when I was a kid, there used to be a ballpark back home called the cricket field, and it had a big wooden fence around it, and they had semi-pro teams that played there. Well, we would find a knothole to look through, and you could look through the knothole, but you still had a kind of a limited vision. Well, some of these other boys, they had enough smarts that they would get up on the hill where they could kind of lean on the top of the fence. Of course, we didn't have that kind of intelligence. They did, but they could see the whole shebang going on.
Right.
And I think that's the way a lot of people are. They're down here looking through the knothole.
Right.
When if they just walk up on that hill and lean on the top of the fence, they can see the whole picture.
Right. I think, and again, a lot of the population of people now really don't know what is going on in their community or their environment around them, or even their neighborhoods, whether it be city or county or statewide. Mm-hmm. They don't really realize what's going on out there. And they should. They should become engaged in what's going on and have a voice. It's just they make comments and they they really don't know. I mean, like this, your new thing, the gun control thing. Mm-hmm. It's all up in the news, and everybody's been out of shape. And people need to read up on their history about the Constitution and how we came to be. Okay, we came to be because our forefathers fought for this rights that we have today. Mm-hmm. And again, a police officer's duty is to enforce the Constitution and the laws of the land and Bill of Rights. And when you see people just saying, "Hey, we need to get rid of the Second Amendment, or we need to get rid of these guns," no, we don't. Mm-hmm. Our forefathers fought hard for these rights that we have. It's laid out because of tyranny. Not because of hunting, but because of government tyranny. And they can't. And this was only 237 years ago that the Declaration of Independence was signed. Mm-hmm. And my great grandfather was one of the signers. And that was also a reason why I did this book as well, because we have family letters that were written and handed down through the family generations. And when you read these letters, you get an idea of what these people were going through, hundreds of years ago.
That has to be fascinating.
And it is truly fascinating. I mean, even in my perspective of being my grandfather, great-great-grandfather, I'm the ninth generation of John Morton, and he was in the Pennsylvania, there was 5 delegates in the Pennsylvania under Benjamin Franklin. He signed under Benjamin Franklin. And he was only 50 years old at the time. And, being a public servant, he just loved the people and to serve the people. He was a high sheriff. He was a judge. He was an assemblyman. He was the Speaker of the House. And he lived 14 miles in Ridgely Township, just out of Philadelphia. And back then, you rode horse everywhere. In the inclement weather, I mean, he was constantly riding to serve the public. And he got sick because of this. And this is what's unconcerning for what goes on with people's minds today. These gentlemen that signed this paper, they put their health on the line. They put their lives on the line. They, their family and their finances and everything, so people would have these rights today, 237 years later. And it's really upsetting, because I feel like they're just taking they're taking advantage of it. Oh, okay, we don't have time. Mm-hmm. Well, don't think that this cannot happen again, because those people back then ran from England and got on a ship and come over here to the New World.
Right.
200, in the 1600s. Okay, and then 100 years later, they're signing the Declaration of Independence. Okay, and then just the Constitution was done in 1787, and then the Bill of Rights was done in 1791. Okay, here we are. We're a very young country. And to think that here we got a government right now doing what they're doing to us by challenging our rights, and we're only 237 years old by standards. Where are we going to flee to now? We can't go anywhere.
Exactly.
Where are we going to go? At least they left that country. They left England and came here. Well,
Yeah.
we can't go nowhere.
That's a good point.
You know, we got to stand up and fight like they did.
That's
Stand
right.
up and fight. People need to know that the reason why the Revolution War began was because just this issue and the taxes issue. That, you know, they need to read up and look up their history to know why people, because they're going to keep pushing the people, and I hate to keep, you know, beating this drum, but some people need to hear it because they're just not getting it.
You're right.
You know?
You got me so excited. I'm just about ready to stand up and shout now.
How about it? I wrote a piece. You know, I sent it to the editors of the newspapers, local newspapers, and actually some out-of-state newspapers. And actually, people need to think about this, and they need to know who they are, and are they going to stand for this? And it starts like this: it's restore America's heritage. I was asked what defines me. Given the last few years of events, I am disenchanted with our state and government affairs. Like many fellow Americans after the last election, knowing deep within our hearts what is in store for our state and federal governments if we continue on the same path. And not one for being a victim of circumstances, I had a heart-to-heart with myself. Do I stand by and allow our state and federal governments to destroy what our founding fathers fought and died for 237 years ago? Does the fault lie with the party that won the last election, or does it lie with the 3 million people that didn't exercise their right to vote? The right that our forefathers and military personnel died to give them. If everyone thought the same way, it would be a boring world. When the time comes to stand united for a grander common cause, put your differences aside and focus on the objectives. If there's any hope of preserving America's heritage for our children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren 237 years from now, for land's sakes, people, stop the madness. Stand united with the party that believes in the power of the 3 Ps: patriotism, principles, and prosperity. I stand on firm ground in preserving the defending our Declaration of Independence, Constitution, and Bill of Rights. It is because of these rights my passion runs red, white, and blue deep within my family's heritage. It is ingrained in my DNA. I have been hardwired from birth to defend what my great-grandfather John Morton sacrificed by signing the Declaration of Independence 237 years ago. He, like the other signers, sacrificed their health, their family's well-being, their financial hardships to create such a government with the liberties that we fought to achieve by fleeing from government tyranny, so we could live the kind of life that they could only wish for. What would they say today if they only knew how our state and federal government are becoming the very same socialist entity that they worked so hard to abolish? I truly believe, and I can almost assure you that they wouldn't be happy with us. I can truly believe that they would say we have failed them. We're not going to turn back the time, but we can learn from it and repair the damage. Pushing and forging ahead with lessons learned to restore America's heritage that made us the great nation that we are. It's essential in resurrecting our youth to be leaders instead of followers. You know what's working, and you know what doesn't work. Throwing hard-working taxpayer currency at everything from education to bike trails in the last 20 years without utilizing common sense obviously didn't prevail and will only continue to kick the can down the road. The underlying issues are still prevalent. No matter how much money has been squandered, it's time for a change. Do you stand by and allow this behavior to continue, or stand up for your beliefs? Can you contribute with the sensible ideas to solve problems without alienating your fellow Americans in your party, or pull together for the greater good of all Americans? When I seek definition of myself, the message that John F. Kennedy wrote in his inaugural speech, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country, speaks volumes to me. This is easy for me. I fall back into my core foundation, the way I was raised and taught in school 40 years ago. Love God, love your family, and love your country. My core foundation, like the bricks under a house, is solid and will never waver. I have the passion to push the power of the 3 Ps: patriotism, principles, and prosperity. As I observed the swearing in of our elected government elite taking the oath to protect and serve our Constitution, I also observed their past and current undermining behavior of our rights granted for every American under the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, and the Bill of Rights. I was taught by the best law enforcement agency in the country not to believe the spoken word, for that will mislead you, but believe the behavior and the attitude of the individual in question, for that will hold the truth. Think about your purpose. Take responsibility for yourself, your state, your country. Make your life matter for your children and your grandchildren. Do you want to be part of the problem or the solution? The blame game isn't a solution to you and your current problems. Believe me, if our forefathers were still alive today and could see how this country has evolved beyond their wildest imaginations, your problems would seem pretty small in comparison to theirs 237 years ago. If they can take nothing and turn it into something, we should be able to take that something and turn it into everything that everyone can agree upon when preserving our American heritage. For 237 years, our Declaration of Independence, our Constitution, our Bill of Rights has worked in our free society that other people around the world can wish to come to. They want to come to America because of the freedom to speak and express themselves, the freedom to bear arms, the freedom to be who and what they want to be. In the old days, the older generation would say, if it's not broke, don't fix it. It has merit and holds true. As for the next 4 years evolve, sit down, have a heart-to-heart with yourself on our state and current path. Do you really want to go there? Do you really want to make a difference like your forefathers did 237 years ago by taking charge, forging ahead, and working together as a team instead of an individual? Use the rights your forefathers fought to give you, either by birth or naturalized citizen. Vote your conscience. Vote for the behavior, not the spoken word. Above all else, put aside your petty disagreements, stand with your party, and just vote in the next election. If we stand united, we can stand behind the truth of our forefathers. We stand for patriotism, principles, and prosperity. So I ask you, what defines you? I know that was wordy, but...
No. Lacey, I believe just the way you do. People need to hear. On our radio show, excuse me, we've had ministers, doctors, lawyers, scientists, the senior director of the National Security Council under President Reagan, actresses, professional athletes. It goes on and on and on and on and on. And I always tell our listeners, we have to come alive. We have to open our eyes and look. We might not want to see what it's like, but we have to look and realize what it is, and we have to hear. Don't plug up our ears, don't close our eyes. We need to hear and to see what's taking place, because it's still, if we could just get a hold of it, it's still we the people.
Yes, and that's what it's all about. It's the people. I mean, you know, it's being a state trooper, a retired state trooper. I mean, that was my job, to enforce the laws of the land governed under our rights, the Bill of Rights, and that's what you stand behind, people's rights. So, given that, and you're educated in the law, do you stand by? I mean, I've been retired. It'll be 5 years in February, and I've sat back and I've watched our state politics and our federal politics, and it's very disenchanting, because you just see the gradual progression of socialism, you know, coming in, and if you believe in what our founding fathers did and where they came from and what their thoughts would be, you know, at the time, fighting for the rights that we have today, and the people today just take advantage of that. You know, like, they don't know what it's like to fight for until now. People that do get it are trying to preserve those rights for the next generation that comes along and the next generation that comes along. You know, these rights that we have been working for 237 years. So if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Right.
Leave it alone. It was there for a purpose, you know. And if you don't, I'm one of those people, if you don't like it, then move. Just leave.
Yeah.
You know, if you don't like America, then just, you know, go to the socialist countries. If that's what you're looking for, go over there.
Yeah, there's ships and airplanes that leaves every day.
Exactly. They will take you anywhere you want to go if you don't like it here, you know. But let me tell you, it's just, it pushes me to the point that I have a passion to get involved. I'm on a mission now, And I won't be happy until I see things turn around. And if I've got to get involved, I guess that's what's going to have to take for me to get involved and to try to turn things around. If not, try to pull the party together and make a difference. And that's what I'm doing, in the present time now. I'm starting a PAC and getting my ducks in a row for my own political ambitions in 2016. So, with my books, getting my books out there in the public, my horse book, Delaware Horse Racing from Arcadia Publishing, and my Messages from a Mother from Author House. I've got another book children's series of books that is coming out. I probably have a first children's book coming out in about 6 months. The illustrator's doing it, and he's coming along real good on it. It's going to be an exciting book. And I've got most of them written. And it's just finding the right illustrator to what your vision is, to capture your vision. And I found him, and I really like his work. And my daughter does too. She wanted me to open it up a while ago. Wanted to see his artwork again on this book. So I can't wait till it's finished and it comes out.
Has your daughter read your messages?
Yes. Believe it or not, this book is kind of geared. I really didn't anticipate her reading this book until she was in her teens, because that's kind of like way I wrote it to when she starts forming relationships and building her own character and knowing people. You really can't trust everybody that you say. You kind of have to watch their behavior and their attitudes, and you form your opinion based on that. And this is what the messages in this book is garnered on. Be careful on who you're forming relationships with, and watch what they're doing instead of what they say per se.
Right.
Yes, I was quite amazed what she did. Again, she just did turn 8 a couple weeks ago, but when the book came out a couple months ago, she took a book right out of the box and she sat down and she started reading it. And it surprised me because I didn't anticipate her to even have any interest. Now, she's a good reader now. I'll tell you what, she can read. She can go start to finish her book and be here at 8 years old. It just astounds me how in school how they teach them how fast. And she loves it. She loves spelling bees and things like that. So, which I'm glad of. But yeah, she I don't think she fully comprehends, being as young as she is, but she did. She sat down and she read it because she's on the front cover. It's Lewis Beach on the front cover, where she was at Lewis Beach a couple years ago, and on the back of the cover is her too.
I was wondering if that was her.
Yeah, that's her on the back. That was taken 3 or 4 years ago when she was around, I'd say, 4 years old. When she was about 4. And that's when I started getting this condition, the health condition that I had. That was on Lewis Beach. And again, I wrote a passage on the back of the book, and it says, "In our world, I am just one person. To a child, you are their world. Life's demands rob precious moments. This can be neither repeated nor recovered. All the money and the gold that one desires cannot buy the love and the pleasures lost through time. It will not matter in years to come what materials you have acquired. The time you spent with your child is what makes the difference in the world, is what a child will remember." And that's so true, because that's the same way I was. I remember the times, the fun, the times you have with your parents or your grandparents. The first time, I'm a lifelong shooter, and I can remember the first time I got my first gun. I was 10 years old, and I had my first gun and a .22, and then I went into a .410, and then I was trap shooting when I was 14 with 12 gauge. So, those are times you remember. It's what you're doing with people at the time, not material things. She'll never remember. They'll never remember what toys you gave them.
Right.
They remember that you spent the time, and that's why I did it. These pictures on Lewis Beach, because these pictures represent that you were there with him. you spent the time to take them there and see the sunset drop in the distance. You know, and what beautiful, you know, how beautiful it is, and just the reaction of the sun going down. That's what you always remember. You always remember the expression on their faces, the joy, the happiness, you know, and getting their feet wet in the surf. That's what you remember. And that's what she'll remember, you know. And that's what all kids remember. That's what I remember. My parents, we had bonfires on the beach. You know, that's what I remember.
I had a fella tell me one time, all we're doing is making memories.
Mm-hmm.
And they can be bad or they can be good.
Yep.
And we all have the choice, but we're all making memories. And that's what people's got to remember. You're absolutely right.
That's what you're doing. I mean, that's and hopefully, you know, there'll be good memories. That's what you strive for, or any good parent, put it that way. I mean, I've been to a lot of places where there wasn't good parents, and the children, I've had to take children out of their homes and put them in the state services, you know, because the poor children weren't being taken care of. And again, those children didn't even know any better. That's all they were accustomed to. Mm-hmm. They didn't know there was any better life out there than what they were being treated. And it's sad that, you know, that more children aren't living the life, you know, happy childhood life. This is why I really press people not to expose their children to too much of modern technology and violence that's going on. I think that's what's wrong with our youth today. They watch all these video games, these violence. Mm-hmm. They're so desensitized to what's around them going on because they see so much violence on television and play those violent video games, and they're bloody and they're gory. Let me tell you something. I've been around all that mess. There's nothing nice about any of it.
No, there isn't.
And when you sit there and expose this kind of stuff to a child, they become so desensitized that, you know, it happens in the real world. Oh, well, so what? You know, they don't care. They don't have any empathy. They never know what empathy is.
Mm-mm.
You know, and so, you know, when they sit there and say that just like these shootings and, you know, these youth are doing, like we had one last week, this week that the kid shot his, down there in Texas, was it?
Mm-hmm.
Somewhere down there that he shot his parents. They were a minister, a reverend, a family, really real religious family, and he ended up shooting them and killing all of them and stuff. And there's no explanation in stuff like that. I mean, we don't live in a perfect world, and you don't know what triggered the individual off like that. But I'm sure, you know, coming from a religious family, he probably wasn't allowed to do video games and see all that stuff. But in a lot of cases, kids are. And but it certainly isn't gun control, I can tell you.
No.
Punishing an object is no different than, you know, somebody getting behind the wheel of a vehicle and mowing down a bunch of people on a sidewalk, or taking it and mowing down a bunch of kids in a playground. Mm-hmm. Or anything else. I mean, are you gonna take everybody's car away? Are you gonna take a pack of matches, and one match you strike it and you light a motel on fire with hundreds of people in it? Are you gonna take all the matches? Are you gonna take the book away?
Uh-huh.
You know, I mean, it's ridiculous to sit there and punish a gun or an object, and then basically take that object away from people that are honest, because criminals don't obey laws.
Right.
No matter what you do, criminals will not obey laws. They're not going to. If you put more fines upon fines upon fines, do they care? No, they don't care. So why keep adding fines and fines? Because they don't care to start with. They're not going to obey the laws to start with. So why keep upping it on fines? It doesn't make any sense. You know, these people. My remedy is, when you get them, put them in jail and keep them there.
Right.
I mean, instead of blowing money on bike trails, why don't you build another jail and instead of having overcrowding and keep pushing these people back out in our community again, leave them in jail, all right? And have jail to where it's not a country club. Have jail to where it's a punishment. And when they go there, they're not going to want to go back if they ever get out. They're not going to want to go back.
Like Sheriff Joe down there in Arizona.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, these well, you know, like we say, all these do-gooders. You know, it's just, you can't, these do-gooders need to go and do these ride-alongs along with the police. And you'll find out how good do-gooders do in the community when you really see how the real world lives. And you can't take these people and just slap them on the back or slap them on the hand and say, don't do this again. They're going to turn around. I used to lock up people for drugs on the street corner and then take them to the court, the magistrate court, and I no more get them in there and get a bond hearing set, and they release them on an unsecured bond. Those critters are back out selling drugs before I get the paperwork done.
That has to be frustrating to a law enforcement officer.
That is so frustrating to a law enforcement. You can't begin to feel how we feel. We go out there and put our life on the line every day. Every time we start a shift, whether day shift or night shift, and we're out here serving the community to make them safe and solve their problems, just to know that we go out and we either get drunk drivers or we go out here and get criminals off the street, or whatever they're doing, running them down if they're committing burglaries or robberies or drug dealers. And, you know, all these people have guns.
Right.
And they don't buy these guns at gun shows, and they don't buy these guns at gun shops. No, they steal them. And they will continue to steal them. But when they sit there and try to pass laws that the honest person, that's how they get their guns, through gun shops, through background checks. You know,
that's right.
They're trying to take weapons away from the honest people that can defend themselves. Now, it's, you know, when you sit there and say, take away all these semi-automatic weapons, well, you know, your government's got semi-automatic weapons. So the Second Amendment was founded on the premises of defending yourself against government tyranny. Am I correct?
That's right. Absolutely.
So if you take all these semi-automatics away from the citizens that are honest, how are they going to defend themselves against government tyranny? Oh, you know, it's like taking a knife to a gunfight. Well, I mean, a shotgun, and it's going to be the point if they ever are allowed to have a gun ban and have something like that where they can just add in a gun coming down the line, they're going to start putting any gun they want on there. And it's going to go right into shotgun. It's going to go from semi-automatic. You got your semi-automatic rifles going into your semi-automatic pistols. It's going to go right into your shotguns, because here your shotguns, you shoot 3, but you can also, you know, take the plug out, put 6 in there.
Right.
Okay. All right. That's multiple times. Take a load of buckshot. Buckshot's got 32 pellets in it. All right. Each pellet's equivalent to 25 caliber bullet. So you've got, in one shell, 32 pellets that are equivalent to a 25 caliber bullet per each. So you've got 32 shots in one shotgun shell. So if you're shooting at somebody, you've just shot at them 32 times. Okay? Don't you think they're going to add that down the line? If they're talking about taking a clips away that more than 10 rounds, why wouldn't they take a shot? Why wouldn't they take the, you know, every deer hunter's dream, you know, ammo, buckshot? Why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they put that on the list? If it, you know, you're talking about shooting at something 32 times, it just, you know, it's just going to go further and further and delve further and further in it, and you just can't let it happen. You just cannot let it happen.
You know, any time a nation fell, such as Germany, when Hitler moved in, disarm the citizens. If you disarm the citizens, they have nothing to fight with other than pitchforks and machetes and sticks and stones. And there is a what do I want to call it? There's a when you hear these people say we don't want to take your guns, what they're really saying is we want to take your guns. We're not going to take them right now, but we're going to bump this, push the envelope just about as far as we can push it, see what happens, and if that works, then we'll push it some more, and we'll push it some more, and we'll just keep pushing our agenda until we get what we want. And that's scary. People don't understand that.
Well, see, they believe what they say, and that's the thing. People have to understand that these politicians are just, it's all lip service.
Uh-huh.
It's all photo ops. It's all about PR, you know. And are you there?
I'm here.
Yeah. And it's all about, that's what they want to do, see? And you can't believe what they're saying when you look at their behavior. Just like I said, as far as police work goes, they teach us not to believe what somebody's telling you, because who's going to tell you the truth? Really?
Right.
You know, you lock people up. Are they going to tell you the truth? Really? You have to. You are taught. You are trained to be human behaviors. Watch the human behavior, because that's never going to lie to you. It's not going to lie to you. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna be able to determine if they're telling you the truth or not just by watching facial features, body language, and just feeling them out and repeatedly telling them the same question over and over and over. You see? I think my phone's getting ready to go out on me.
Oh no!
Yeah, I'm on a landline now. I should have been okay. But if I don't, I'll call you back. If it goes out, I'll just call you back on my cell phone.
That'll work. That'll work.
You know, so if I go blip and you don't hear me anymore, I'll just call you right back on my cell phone.
I got you. Hey, Lacey, what led to you becoming a state trooper?
What led to me? Well, my grandfather, he was the chief of police in Lewis for 25 years. Lynn Ritter in Lewis. That's where I'm raised. I was raised over in Lewis, Delaware.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to Cape Henlopen School. I graduated from Cape Henlopen. And he was a big inspiration to me. I looked up to him tremendously. And early on, I wanted to be a state trooper. And I just had it in my mind. I began my farming. I went to Sussex Tech and took up agriculture mechanics, and I was the first woman over there to do so, and I was first woman president of my class. And I just fell in love with being in agriculture, farming, and things like that. So I kind of put my trooper vision on the back burner and got into farming, and that's what took me coming over here in this area where you are 33 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I met a fella and came over here to this area, and we had a farms, and we had chickens, a poultry grower, and we got a trucking company, and I did that for a period of time till again that trooper, you know, working for the state police just kept gnawing and gnawing and gnawing at me. I just wanted to be able to go out and help the people and be a public servant. And so I went to college. Are you still there?
Yep, I'm here.
Yep. I went to college, got my degree because that's what they required. One of their requirements was to get an associate's degree or in something. And I got it in criminal law. And I was employed by the Delaware State Police in 1995. And I stayed employed through my career up to 2008 when I was retired on a disability. My hearing on my left side of my head went out from gunfire and ammunition and radio noise. It took out my hearing on my right side, and they felt like I was going to hurt myself. So they gave me a retirement, which I wasn't ready for, but you know, it's one of those things that you don't have any control over.
That's right.
I wanted to stay employed. I even bought a $2,000 hearing aid to stay employed, but they thought just thought it would be to my best interest if they thought I might get hurt to retire me. So that's what takes me retiring. But I stayed on patrol my whole career because that's just what I like to do. I like to go out and be among the people, and I like that was my niche, being on stopping cars and going to domestics and burglaries. You're very well rounded. You're very well rounded when you're a patrol officer. You get to experience a lot of different things, whether it be accidents, crime, civil. You become very well rounded, and if you enjoy meeting people and being with people, and it's a wonderful career. I'd recommend it to anybody. And they took care of me. I tell you, I loved it. I loved every minute of it, and I loved the state police. And they're a beautiful organization to work for. I can tell you.
You said that there were times that you had to take the children out of the homes.
Yeah.
That had to be some of the saddest, heartbreaking things about your job, huh?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, there are some good times, and there's some bad times, and you just have to do the best you can. There's times when we've had to take children away from their parents because of the welfare, and there's times that we've had to, go to houses and tell people that their loved ones have died in a car accident. And then there's aspects to the job that aren't so. This is why I recommend, if anybody's interested in being a police officer, you need to go and do ride-alongs first. You need to experience this before you spend the time and get educated and go through school and apply, because it's a yearly process just to apply for the state police. They go through different steps, and then to get hired and go through the training, the academy training for 22 weeks, just to know after you've done all of that, and it encompasses probably a good year or 2 years of your life, just to find out that you're not cut out for this. You're not cut out for it. But I encourage anybody, and I would tell people, hey, come with me. We'll do ride-alongs. If you're interested in this job, come on, let's do a ride-along. We'll see how much, how I'm going to show you what you need to say before you say, I want to do this, And, it's a rewarding career. I enjoy it. I'd do it all over again. And I'd still be doing it, if they didn't retire me. I really thoroughly enjoy it. And like you say, you do things. Some things you enjoy doing, and other things you got to do. You got to do, but you don't like to do it, but you do. I mean, I've had to lock up my neighbors, and not that I wanted to do it. It's just one of those things. You just had to do it. And it's not the luxury I could just give it to anybody else on my shift. I mean, there's times you're out here on the road by yourself, and you're handling complaints from one next to the other, and you don't have backup. You don't have people helping you. Mm-hmm. You got to do it all yourself. And Sussex County is a pretty vast area, and you just you don't have backup. Going to get to you probably for anywhere from 5 to 10, 15 minutes. So you got to learn how to handle things yourself. And no matter how big, if I weigh 135 pounds, and I have had to fight people that were 220 pounds. Mm-hmm. And you just learn to handle yourself, and don't think for 1 minute that you'll never get in an altercation with somebody, because you will. I mean, I've had to fight people 2 o'clock in the morning all by myself. Pull them over from a traffic stop, and it go bad, and I'm pulling them out of the car, and we're fighting all the way down the roadway. Mm-hmm. So. That was a drunk driver I had, but I've had knives pulled on me. I've had shotguns pointed at me. So, through the grace of God, I had angels sitting on my shoulder every time. That was looking out for me. But believe you me, police officers, they go to work. They love what they do, or they wouldn't be doing it. And they're out there to make sure that everybody's safe and everybody gets home safe. And we try to be everywhere. We tried to be everywhere we could. It was a real rewarding career. I really enjoyed it.
When you locked up some young people. Were there certain young people that you knew had the capability, or what am I looking for? Had the grit inside to make something of themselves? Could you almost pick that up?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're the one thing, you're either cut for this job. When I say cut, you're either your behavior, your attitude, your tenacity. You're either cut for this job or you're not. You know, and it takes a person that kind of got some grit to them. When I say grit, you know, it kind of reminds you of John Wayne kind of grit. Because there's a lot of unpleasant things in this job that you see, that you deal with. You know, especially in people that you discovered, you know, like something bad has happened to them, and it's not so pleasant to look at. You know, like suicides in any fashion. You got to be able to have the stomach for it. You know, and it's not all glorified. It's not all glory. People think, you know, it's all pompous and glory, but it's not. And you've got to be able to stick in there, and then again, you know, when somebody's getting in your face and shouting at you and calling you names and doing all that, you got to be able to, you know, take control of the situation and not let your get things out of hand and control these people, because you have to know you have to control them, not they control you. You're there to, you know, be a presence. And this is what you'll have people that want to push your buttons. They'll want to push your buttons. So, yeah, it's something. And I learned it, like I say, I got it from my grandfather, and I'm just sorry that, you know, maybe, you know, he didn't live long enough to see me do it, because I know he'd have been tickled. But I'm sure he knows, you know.
Yeah, I'm sure he does, and I believe that. So you went. So you were a Delaware State Trooper, an author. I watched the clip, and ladies and gentlemen, go to Lacey Lafferty, and that's Lacey with an E, LACEY, LAFFERTY.com, LaceyLafferty.com. There's some videos on there. I watched the video when you were, I guess it was in Harrington.
Yeah.
And I liked your outfit.
All right, the one at Dover Downs, yeah. I was supposed to have a book opening, book signing at Harrington, but the hurricane, Sandy, took it out. So we had another one when the Dover Downs meet opened up, and we had a book signing up there. And my outfit, you know, believe it or not, a lot of people don't know me dressed up, because if people really knew me, they know me. I wear a lot of ball caps and my hair up in a cap, and you know, around the farm, I have a horse farm, and I mean, I'm in jeans and kind of look like a farmer when I go around, but when I get dressed up, people don't know me. They don't know that's another side of me. Of course, I was a model. I went to modeling school years ago. Before I was a state trooper, I went to modeling school, and that was an experience, you know, in itself, and I enjoyed that. And I just got so busy, I can't do everything, which I'd like to do everything because I like to stay busy. And so I'm always wanting to experience new things. Like right now, you know, my New Year's resolution this year was to learn to play the guitar. So I'm sitting here, you know, learning to play my guitar. And I bought one of them Ralph Paul easy guitar, you know, DVDs, and I'm gonna tell you what, it's harder than it looks.
Yeah, it is, because I've tried it several times.
I'm enjoying it, but it's a little harder than I thought it was going to be. But I've learned the chord, I've learned my scales, and I've learned the chords. So I'm getting there. And but that's what I like to do. I'm always doing something, pushing myself to do things, and just like getting back in politics. I was in politics, you know, 25 years ago too. And again, when I became a state trooper, I got out of politics. And so now that I'm retired, and I've been allowed my daughter to grow up a little and independent and getting with the circumstances we see all around us. I'm starting to get back into politics again, and so we'll see how it goes the next 4 years.
Are you racing? Are you racing your horses?
Yeah, I was right up till Christmas time.
Mm-hmm.
I had won the qualifiers, and he come up sore, so I let him turn him out for weeks. And then here, the weather's got cold, and so I haven't ventured out too much this week. I'm not one for the cold, I tell you. So I'm kind of waiting until next week. I'll start jogging him again. But I've got a nice 2-year-old colt that's Delaware Stakes, and I trained him last summer, and I turned him out to let him grow over the wintertime, and I want to bring him in after the weather breaks and start exercising him to get him ready for the Delaware Stakes this year, and the 2-year-olds. So that's something to look forward to. But, yeah, I enjoy my horses. I got 7 of them, and again, this is why I got into this endeavor as far as my books and also my Laugh apparel. It's clothing and merchandise. I give a share of the proceeds to retired racehorses, animal shelters, and several charitable foundations. I was able to give money to Kent SPCA, St. Jude, American Heart Association, Delaware Food Bank, Children's Hospital in Philadelphia. That's the hospital. My daughter had open heart surgery a couple years ago, and that was the hospital that did her surgery, so I was able to donate some money to them as well, and things like that, and retired horses, food supplies for them, and some of these organizations that support it. And that's the reason why I did it, just to create an endeavor that could, sustain itself, but also be able to contribute to charities. And so, needless to say, my books, I keep them. My goal is to keep a book coming out every 6 months.
That's fantastic. Now, if people go to LaceyLafferty.com, they can see the things that's in your store there too, right?
Yep.
Hats and T-shirts and pins and ladies and gents happy horse shorts.
Happy horse shorts. Yeah, I have T-shirts, mugs, pins, shorts, and hats in there. You can buy them, like I say, online. My store at LaceyLafferty.com, or you can come by my farm at 11360 Chipman's Pond Road, Laurel, Delaware. You can call me at 302-841-8716. You can buy my books the same way, through my internet store or through me here as well. Or you can buy these books at Barnes & Noble, Walgreens, Amazon.com, Books A Million. The Messages from a Mother book is from Author House. You go on their website, authorhouse.com. Delaware Horse Racing is from Arcadia Publishing. It's a history book company. You can go to their website, arcadiapublishing.com, and you can buy it off their website. And also, if you're in,
I said cool.
Yeah, if you're in Delaware, you can buy the books down to Browse About in Rehoboth Beach, and you can buy them at Acorn Books in Dover, and Georgetown Historical Society, and Brian's in Brittenham, Free Store down in Delmar. So they're around, and I can get you a book. If you want some books, I'll mail them to you, whatever,
It's no problem getting somebody a book, is it?
No, ain't no problem. I can get them the books, one way or another. People call me up, and they say, well, how do I get your book? I said, I'll get this book to you. You want that book, I can get it to you, And I've taken them to. I had a nice lady that was in a nursing home, and she actually wrote me a nice letter. I tell you, it was nice. And I said, and I wanted to meet her. I just, instead of sending her the book, I just went to the nursing home and took her the books. And she was tickled. She was really tickled. And I went back, and she wanted some more, and I took her back some more. I've got to visit her now. She after the holidays. But I can get you anything you want. People want them. And again, like I share, these proceeds that when the books come from me through my website and through me, me mailing them to them here at the farm, a share goes to charities and retired racehorses and animal shelters as well. So, yeah.
Lacey, it has really been a delight. And listen, there's a couple things that I'm working on, and perhaps you can help me since you was in law enforcement. And I'll get up with you when you got some time.
Sure.
I don't know when that is, but anyhow, I'll get up with you. Maybe you can point me in the right direction or put me in contact with somebody.
Sure.
You are a delightful person.
Thank you, sir.
I can hear your heartbeat. And I always tell people, if I can hear someone's heartbeat, I know they're for real. And I can hear your heartbeat. I can feel your passion. And that makes all the difference in the world. And you get back on that political soapbox, you holler at me. And I'll do everything I can.
Well, honey, that's where I'm going to be. I'm going to start beating the drums all night. I'm real passionate about it, and something has to be done. And if it takes me to do it, that's just what it's going to be. That's why I'm going to start this pack. And like I say, I'm starting, right after this last election. So I've got 4 years to 2016 to make it happen. And I'm, like I say, making contacts, and it's going to take money. Anytime you run statewide, it's going to take money.
Yes,
and
indeed.
So if people want to donate to my pack, bring it on, because we're going to fight. Come 2016, we're going to try to take our Delaware back. We're going to try to take it back. And I'm going to do what I can. Being retired, it's nice because I can take my full-time dedication to the people. I can take it to them. I can travel Sussex, Kent, Newcastle, wherever it needs to be, and I've got 4 years to do it. So, it's rallying up the people, get them to stick with me, stick beside me, not behind me. I want them beside me.
Right.
And I want people to be heard. I'm like everybody else out here. I worked hard. I'm not rich. I'm like everybody else. I'm your average Joe, just like everybody else. And I'm tired of having to vote for the lesser of two evils.
Yeah, that's the truth.
And I know everybody else is too. And it's just down here in Sussex, we feel down here like we're never going to get heard. And you got a population of people in Newcastle that elects these people, and for the rest of us state, for the rest of us,
Yep.
And it's got to change. It's got to change. We got to pull together. We got to get together. Sussex and Kent County people, we need to get together. And I'm not saying, against Newcastle, but I'm saying we've got to turn this around.
Exactly.
We got to get people voting. And standing by. Put your differences aside. Now, I'm all for everybody's going to have a different view. And it's interesting because I like different views, because I like to take a little bit about, away from everybody. Listen to what everybody's got to say, because it's good for the grander cause, the master plan. When you have everybody's view, and you can take a little bit of what everybody's got,
It's like a recipe, huh?
Exactly that. And this is what I used to do on the job. I used to be able to sit there and talk with people and say, okay, we're going to take a little bit what you got, negotiate what you have, and you, and we're going to make this work. We'll make this work where everybody's happy, And that's my goal. My goal is to bring the people together and put your differences aside, and let's get in there, and then we'll work on it. We'll work on everybody what they want, and stop pulling apart. Stop being all this decisiveness. It's not working for you. It's not worked for you in 20 years. So let's get it done.
Lacey, excuse me. You should just get a little more excited. No, I'm only kidding. I'm only kidding.
Sometimes they say that's my problem. I get a little too excited. I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing.
Nah. You just keep going on with what you're doing, and it'll work. Lacey, thank you so much for coming and being with us tonight. And I'll get up with you.
Yep.
And tell your little girl we said hello.
Sure.
And until then.
Yep. Thank you so much for having me, and it's been a pleasure, and you have a great evening.
You too, Lacey.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. There, ladies and gentlemen, Lacey Lafferty, retired Delaware State Trooper, former model, author, businesswoman, and a whole bunch of other things. So I'll be right back in about 30 seconds or so. Wow, that ended quick. What'd you do, Charlie? Okay. Bad Friday by Coley Bryce. Man, I'll wait for the cool ending there. You'll get it next time? All right. Okay. Hey, what? Yeah? Well, what are they cheering about? My mom's in the house. My mom's coming through the studio. Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. Here she comes. Now, why is she knocking on that door? Come on in, Mom. Oh, that squeaky door. We're going to have to get Travis to fix that. My, the crowd is just they love her, and she can do no wrong, and that's just the way it is. Well, Mom, stand up here. Show everybody your brand new haircut.
This is it. It's looking pretty good to me, considering what it looked like 9 months ago.
Now, see, you don't believe that people can see you.
On the radio.
On what?
On the radio.
Just because you're on the radio. But this is entirely different, see. Our listeners...
It's your world.
It's our world.
Whatever.
Because you live here with us.
How scary is that? How scary is that?
That's not scary at all. But anyhow, the people in the Funny Farm Radio studio, of course, they can see you. But the people out there, the real true loons, the people out there, they have these magic mirrors that they can look into our world and they can see you. Wave at them.
Hi. How are you?
See? You saw that, didn't you? Yeah. What do y'all think out there in the studio? Yeah, I know. Yeah. All right. So, how long's it been since, what did we determine? How long's it been since you ever had a haircut?
Probably, I would say it's probably been over a year since I had a haircut. I lost my hair in April, and 2 days ago was the first I had any hair for somebody to mess with long enough for somebody to do something with.
Well, it's really looking nice. Moo put your picture up on Facebook the other night, and we've got tons and tons of compliments from people far and wide. What do you think of that?
I think you guys are just simple, and I think that people love me. And I don't know why. They're crazy.
No, we're crazy.
I said that.
No,
yeah.
Not them.
Who's crazy?
We are crazy.
And then people's crazy for loving me.
No, no. Everybody loves you, Mom. Everybody loves you. Your hair really looks nice.
Well, thank you.
And we'll probably get a bunch of emails from the people that could see you through their magic mirrors telling us that they like your hair, too. It's just pretty.
Well, thank you, Pops. I appreciate the compliment.
Well, I know what side my bread's buttered on.
Exactly. Yeah. You know who takes care of Pops.
Yeah, you've got me trained. It took 45 years to do it.
Exactly.
But you've got me trained.
Yes, I do.
Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to let Mom go, and we thank her for stopping by. Are you driving home?
No, I don't think so. I think I'm going to take the limo tonight. Let somebody else drive me home.
Oh, aren't you something? I never get to ride in that.
You will be paying for it.
Yeah, I know. Okay. So you're going to take the limo home?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Tell Charlie good night.
Good night, Charlie.
Yeah, okay.
Good night, folks. God bless you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, there goes my mom. She's gone, and out that creaky, smashy door. Travis, we got to get this thing fixed. It's been so long. We've got to get this thing fixed. Hey, listen to me on Tuesday night. Let me get my thingamajig here for the whatchamacallit with the dooflicky. Let me get going here, right? No, that's the wrong thing. Do that. I'll be all right. Wait, just hang in there with me for a minute. I'm trying to do something, talk at the same time. Okay, Tuesday night, which is the 29th. Yes, the 29th of January. Tuesday night. Excuse me. we are going to have a singer, songwriter, musician from right here in the state of Delaware by the name of Solomon, and I hope I say this last name right, Knoph. Solomon Knoph. If it's not right, if it's not right, forgive me. And when we hook up Tuesday evening, you can correct me because I have a habit of tearing up last names, including my own. But anyhow, on Tuesday night, Solomon is going to be with us. We are going to be chatting with him, playing some music, and tonight we want to showcase some of his music. I'm telling you what, this stuff is pretty. I like it, and I'm sure you will too. I was born to love.
I have never been so sure of anything in my life. Never thought I'd be a heartbeat from paradise. But here I am on the doorstep of what so many only can dream. Yeah, I honestly believe, I honestly believe that I was born to love her. I was born to love her. From the first breath I took till now, from the moment that I even knew how to love somebody the way that I love her. I was born to love her. I was born to love her. Some may say that what we have is divine destiny. Some believe it's just a flip of the coin for the lucky. I don't care what they say, 'cause all I know is what I see. When she's standing right in front of me, standing right there. I was born to love her. I was born to love her. From the first breath I took to now, from the moment that I even knew how to love somebody the way that I love her. I was born to love her. I was born to love her. To love somebody the way that I love her. I was born to 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 love her.
That was so sweet. I was born to love her by Solomon Knoph. I think I'm saying that right. But anyhow, we're going to have Saw with us on Tuesday night at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. They say that his original music is currently being considered by top recording artists such as Tim McGraw, Lone Star, Clay Walker, John Michael Montgomery, and many more, with timeless songs like Average Joe, co-written with Jerry Smith and Sarah's Hair. So, tremendous musician. If you are out and about tonight, Friday, January 25th, he will be at the Sheraton's Irish Pub in Smyrna, not too far up the road, in Smyrna, Delaware. And it'll be at 8:30 p.m. Sheridan's Irish Pub, Smyrna, Delaware, at 8:30. Solomon Knopf. So you can go see him. I know that you're going to love his music. Midnight Ride.
Got a suit on you with the pedal to the metal, laying off the clutch and you're gonna have to settle. With his hands on you like a steering wheel, and he's driving so fast gonna make you squeal. And you don't even know that he's really bound to go on a midnight ride. He's going nowhere, taking you on a midnight ride to nowhere. He's going nowhere, taking you on a midnight ride. Well, it's a road you've traveled many times before. A poor-old sucker coming back from home, a junkyard Jenny in a passenger seat, and you're running out of gas, baby, ain't that sweet? And you may think you're bold, but it's going to get cold on a midnight ride to nowhere. He's going taking you on a midnight ride to nowhere. He's going nowhere, taking you on a midnight ride. Well, I heard your mama's voice, but you had to make your own choice. Now you're feeling like a fool, far from home. On a midnight ride. There's a light up ahead and it's shining on you. It's just a ray of reason what you gonna do. Get control of this car and pull it off the track, and put your feet on the blacktop and never look back. As he's screaming out your name, you know you'll never go again on a midnight ride to nowhere. He's going nowhere, taking you on a midnight ride.
there it goes. One of the Funny Farm airplanes, passenger planes, taking off. Now, if you know nothing about the Funny Farm here, this is how we have our own self-sustained place. We don't know where it is. It's in our world. We don't know where that is. We just live here. But we have our own airport, our own EMS, our own fire, police department, cooks, candle makers, bakers, you name it. This place is self-sustained around here, and we have nothing but top-quality staff members. Don't ever let anybody tell you any different. If you're in the Smyrna area tonight, why don't you just stop in over there at Sheridan's Irish Pub? Show goes on at 8:30. That's about 27 minutes from now. And hey, if you do, and you heard it here, just kind of get his attention. When he's not real busy, just tell him, say, hey, Espinlob sent me. I heard. I heard that you was here. That Espinlob guy, from the Funny Farm, he said that you was here at Sheridan's Irish Pub. Tomorrow night, down in Dover, well, down from Smyrna, up from here, but tomorrow night in Dover, he's going to be at Bubba's, and he'll go on at 10 o'clock. Sunday, he's going to be at the Annabelle's Italian Restaurant in Lewis, which is the other way from us. Lewis, down by the beach. Sunday, January 27th, he's going to be there. He'll be performing at 5:30 p.m. So tonight, Sheridan's Irish Pub in Smyrna. Tomorrow night, Bubba's in Dover. And Annabelle's Italian Restaurant on Sunday at 5:30 p.m. And if you want to treat yourself to some fine, fine music, you go watch this man. We're going to have him here Tuesday night, and we're going to play a couple more songs of his here in just a minute. I want to share some things with you. Let me get my stuff. I got more stuff tonight than you can shake a stick at. My goodness gracious. Anyhow, where's my little note that I wrote to myself? Next week, let me get this magic box out here again. Next week, here we go. Monday, the 28th, we are going to have Patty and Brian O'Mara Croft with us. They are a couple that has one fantastic story to tell, a true story. They are going to tell you about their experience when one has a tremendous or a heart-wrenching sickness and how this couple survived a wife's failing heart. It's called Pulse of My Heart by Patty and Brian O'Mara Croft. It is a delightful book that they wrote. Excuse me. They are going to be with us Monday night right here on the George Espinlob Show at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So don't forget, Monday night, Patty and Brian O'Mara Croft will be with us. Pulse of My Heart. I'm telling you what, it is very, very interesting. And they'll tell you all about it. I don't want to say too much, but it's a tremendous book. Then on Tuesday night, we'll have Solomon Knoph with us, who we are showcasing his music tonight. And then on Wednesday night, which is the 30th, can you believe this is the end of January already? We are going to have Father Joe Bradley with us from the great big state of California, excuse me, who has written a book, The Four Gifts, How One Priest Received a Second, Third, and Fourth Chance at Life. And it is a put you on the edge of your seat. That's for sure. He let me read this to you. He's a priest in residence at St. Gregory's Catholic Church in San Mateo, California. Father Joe speaks frequently to audiences about his spiritual journey, counsels other heart transplant patients and their families. He is also a frequent speaker at parishes and Catholic schools. Where he is known for thought-provoking sermons on controversial topics ranging from his own mistakes and former drug use to immigration and the clergy abuse scandals. And he will tell you that by all rights, insight, knowledge, and plain old common sense, I should be dead. If past usage of beer, marijuana, and cocaine didn't do the trick, then certainly dilated cardiomyopathy, yeah, I can't say that word. Y'all know I can't anyhow. Whatever it is, should have. And he said, instead, I'm alive, clean, and sober, and a functioning Catholic priest after finally overcoming addiction. And he's going to tell his story. That'll be on Wednesday night. Boy, we got a good week all lined up for you. Thursday night. Excuse me. Lou Ann Hunt, singer, songwriter, musician. And when you read all about her, you are going to be amazed. She is going to be with us on Thursday night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Lou Ann Hunt. And then, on February the 1st, we're going to have Colonel Lee Ellis, a retired Air Force man, who was shot down over North Vietnam and spent 5 years as a POW in the Hanoi Hilton. He will be telling his story, and we will be promoting his book. Colonel Lee Ellis, retired Air Force, will be with us February 1st at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, a former POW. Tune in. Tell the other veterans. Tell your friends, your neighbors, your in-laws, your outlaws, anybody that will listen to you, that we're going to have a tremendous week next week, starting Monday night, going all the way through Friday. Now, let me make this very special announcement. No, let me wait. Let me wait a second, because I want to play some more music by Mr. Solomon Knopf. I hope I'm saying that right. I really do. But he'll be with us on Tuesday night. Here's another one. Average Joe.
Grandpa's photo was old and hard to see. He pointed and said, I think that guy is me. There's Hal and Frank, they were from Des Moines. They lied about their age so they could join. We were all like brothers, a family made by a war. And see this guy right here, one stripe on his uniform. His name was Joe, just an average Joe. And he was the best friend I would ever know. He carried me when I was in pain. And you know, for him I would have done the same. Sometimes the greatest heroes, you know, are just an average Joe. Our company dug in so close to the fight, we could see them light their cigarettes at night. We slept one eye open, ear to the muddy ground. And as long as I live, I'll never forget that sound. When they stormed our foxhole, one cut me with a knife. It was hand to hand and man to man, and one man saved my life. His name was Joe, just an average Joe, and he was the best friend I would ever know. He carried me through the fire and rain, and you know, for him I would have done the same. Sometimes the greatest heroes you know are just an average Joe. Sometimes the greatest heroes you know are just an average Joe.
I'll tell you what, now that one will bring tears to your eyes. All of this man's music is tremendous. If you're in the Smyrna area, if you're in the Smyrna area tonight, the Smyrna, stop it. If you're in the Smyrna, don't get me laughing now. You know how I get. If you're in the Smyrna, area, Smyrna, Delaware, Smyrna. I can't help it. Something just falls down on me. You know what I'm saying? Don't look at me like that. Something just falls down on me, and I get this way. All right, let me get myself straightened out. Straighten up, Espinal. Come on, get it right now. All right. I want to thank our guest, Lacey Lafferty, who is just around the corner and down the road a little piece, a retired Delaware State Trooper, a mom, an author, model, businesswoman, and just about anything else that she can think of. Go to Lacey, that's Lacey, Lafferty, Lafferty, LaceyLafferty.com. There you can get the book Messages from a Mother to Her Daughter when she had a very, very serious illness and she wasn't sure that she was going to survive. Messages from a Mother. And you can get her other book that she wrote about the horse tracks here in Delaware and so on, the history, and it's quite interesting. Anything you need to know, you can get her apparel, hats, T-shirts, mugs. Just go to LaceyLafferty.com, LaceyLafferty.com, and you can see everything on there. And you can get the books, you can get the merchandise, you can read about Lacey, and trust me, I believe we're going to hear a lot more from this lady because she is on a mission. Now, if you're in the Smyrna area, don't laugh, because I've had enough. That's been love. Let me get it back here. If you're in the Smyrna area, as soon as I get it back, I'm going to get it. Somewhere down the road, I'm going to get it. There it is. Okay, I think I got it back. All right, one more time. Oh, man. If you're in the Smyrna area, go see Solomon Knoph at Sheridan's Irish Pub. He goes on at 8:30, and that is in about 13 minutes. Tomorrow night in Dover, at 10 o'clock tomorrow night. Saturday, January 26th, he'll be at Bubba's in Dover. Goes on 10 o'clock. Sunday, January 27th, he'll be at Annabella's Italian Restaurant in Lewis, Delaware at 5:30 p.m. And go listen to this man because he has written and sings some beautiful, beautiful songs. He makes beautiful, beautiful music, songs that are being considered by some of the top artists out there today. So he'll be with us. He'll be with us, Solomon Knoph, with us on Tuesday night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, right here on the George Espinlaub Show and on the Spreaker.com network. Now, let me tell you about this very special announcement. And I can't tell you too much about it, but I'll tell you. We have been in touch with a particular organization that we want to carry their program on our show, be it on a Saturday night or a Sunday morning or maybe both, Saturday night, Sunday morning, maybe 6 or 7 days a week. We're not sure yet, but we are sure of this. We've made contact with them. We are in the final negotiations with them. We are about ready to put this, we're about ready to seal the deal, Neil. That's the only way I can put it. We're about ready to seal the deal, Neil, and we're going to be able to carry this broadcast. I am excited. I'm excited. It is something that has been on my heart for a long, long time, and we were just so fortunate to be able to make contact with these people. And when you find out who they are and what they do, you will be thrilled. It will be a very interesting show for the entire family, boys and girls, moms and dads. And I'll guarantee you, you'll sit on the edge of your chair as you listen to the show. So, soonly, that's very soonly, we will have the final negotiations all done. We'll seal the deal, Neil, and then we'll bring it on. Okay? All right. Okay, with no further ado, as Charlie always says, let's play another song by Solomon. Searching for You. This is so nice. Turn the lights out. Kick back. Listen.
If I could make one wish, I'd wish that you still loved me. I'd wish I had been the man that you wanted. But I gave you everything that I had, still ended up with a good love on bad. Now here I am in search of another, in search of another. But I'll be searching for you, every woman I see, searching for you for eternity, for someone with your eyes, the kind that hypnotize and sparkle so blue. But tell me, how can I find someone else if I'm searching for you? I've heard it said before, there's someone for everyone. But what do you do when your someone's been taken? Don't tell me about all those fish in the sea. Tell me there's someone like you left for me. And if there is, you know where I'll be. You know where I'll be. I'll be searching for you, every woman I see. Searching for the you that you used to be. When your smile was so bright, like a shine from a different light, and your heart was still true. But tell me, how can I find someone else if I'm searching for you? I've been searching for you in every woman I see. Searching for you until it's clear to me that it's time to let go. 'Cause I'll just never know if another will do. So I'll say goodbye to the love that we knew. Hello to a change overdue. 'Cause I'll surely never find anyone else if I'm searching for you.
Ah, how sweet. I'm telling you, you need to go hear this man. He is at, I almost started cracking up again. Stop it, Espinlove. He is at the Sheridan's Irish Pub in Smyrna, Delaware. That is up the road from here. It's down the road if you're in Wilmington. And look, we're not that big of a state, you know what I'm saying? I think it's like 87, 89 miles from down on the bottom to up on the top, and you know, we're nothing. I mean, we're not too wide either. You know what I'm saying? So it's not far from any place here in Delaware. Stop by Sheridan's Irish Pub right now in about 5 minutes. This man, Solomon Knopf, is ready to go on stage and sing these songs. I mean, these are heartwarming songs. These are the kind of songs, and this is the kind of music that will, make you feel all warm and fuzzy on the inside. I am so glad that he's going to be with us on Tuesday night, right here at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time on the George Espinlove Show. You know, it's been great. It has been great. It's been a great week. And we've had some great guests. Last night, we wasn't on the air. And I've always wanted to say this. Maybe I've said it before, but I want to say it again. Due to technicalities beyond our control. That's it. Due to technicalities beyond our control, we were not able to broadcast to you last night. But we're here tonight. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, we have had a tremendous week. Thank you for all of your support. Email me. Keep them emails coming. I love them. Charlie loves them. My mom loves them. Keep them emails coming. George C., that's C like Charlie, George C.E. at Comcast.net. George C.E. at Comcast.net. And we'll answer every one of them. Ask if whatever you want to ask us and say whatever you want to say. George C.E. at Comcast.net. I want to thank everyone that hangs with us every single night. Tell your friends, your neighbors, your in-laws, your outlaws, anyone that will listen to you to tune in to the George Espinlove Show right here on the Spreaker.com network. It's been a delight. I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful weekend, and we say it every Friday night. You never know, but we might appear on a show or several shows, Saturday or Sunday or both. It just depends what's going on, where it happens, when it happens, and all that good stuff. So you always stay on your toes. Check in often because we might be live on the air. And remember, we're mobile, so we're not held down to one particular place. We can travel anywhere we want to go, and we can put the show on the road, literally on the road. I trust that you'll join us when we're on the air again, be it tomorrow, Sunday. We'll definitely be back Monday. I hope you enjoyed the show tonight. I hope you enjoyed Lacey. I sure did. It was exciting. It was fun. And I believe we're going to hear a whole lot more from that lady. We're going to take it out of here tonight. Charlie said he's hungry. He's hungry. Charlie is always hungry. We're gonna ride this puppy out with what we started with, a Bad Friday. And listen to me, there's a whole lot of love that comes to you from the Funny Farm. Yep, Charlie, Miss Ernestine, Harvey, Mom, Travis, all the girls, the cooks, the psychiatrists, everyone here, including yours truly. We do love you. We care about you. Send us an email, georgece@comcast.net, georgece@comcast.net. All right, my friends, boys and girls, men and women, wherever you're at, if it's nighttime, you have a good night. If it's already daytime, because we're heard around the world, if it's already daytime where you are, have a great day. But wherever you are and whatever it is, until the next time, this is George Espinlaub saying good night and God bless you real good.